It is Thursday, July 31st, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well on this, the final day you can make a trade in Major League Baseball. We had a busy Wednesday. We expect a huge Thursday as well. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've had a lot of stuff happen. Last night at the ticker of midnight Eastern, we get the big Geno news. But there's still a lot going on. I feel like they were saying this might be a cold trade deadline. There's many names that are still going to go today. So there's a lot to get through.
All right, let's break down what has happened. But before that, we got a little tip of the cap and kind of a cool gesture from Nick Kurtz of the budding star for the Athletics, who had a 4-homer game last Friday against the Astros. His last one came against position player Cooper Hummel, and he apparently is a big memorabilia collector. So he sends him an autographed bat that said, "Thanks for throwing a strike." I dig it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you're, on the, I guess, the quote-unquote wrong end of some history there. But if Nick Kurtz ends up being who we think he can end up being, that's going to be a really cool piece.
Yeah. Dan, you got to put that back up real quick. The only thing I would say, come on, kid, let's clean up the signature. I know signing bats is not easy.
It's very easy, Chris.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually one of the easier things to sign because it's big.
Okay. So what's the excuse here?
Michael Kadyr's got to give him a call. That's who would tell him.
Oh, he taught you how to properly sign?
Harmon Killebrew, that was huge for him. He'd go around spring training making sure everyone did that, and then Michael Kadyr kind of took on that role afterwards. Mine's not great, but it's way more legible than that.
No, yours is good. Mine has always been horrible. I get very shaky, and I don't know what it is. Not that I give a ton of autographs, but I have over the years, obviously, on baseballs more than anything else. Is there a key to signing?
No. I mean, no.
Okay.
Seriously, you just do it if you more often, you get used to it. Jerseys are tough.
Jerseys are tough. Body parts are even tougher.
I mean, not jerseys, a T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirts are really hard. Very hard. Okay. You mentioned Eugenio Suarez. He is going back to one of his former homes, traded late last night to the Seattle Mariners for 3 players, the biggest one of whom is Tyler Locklear, who's gotten some show run. A first baseman and a couple of pitchers are headed back to the Diamondbacks. Suarez, of course, is in his walk year. He now makes a little history as he is the player who has the most home runs to be dealt right at the trade deadline. 53 home runs in 2 seasons in Seattle. So this now gives 2 of the top 3 home run hitters in the American League in Seattle's lineup, which ain't bad. Now, all of a sudden, do you see Seattle, since they've added Naylor, they added Caleb Ferguson to the bullpen yesterday as well, as the team to beat in the American League?
No, but it gives them obviously a much better shot in the playoffs and a shot at making the playoffs. Right now they're still, I believe, in the last wild card spot. So they got to get there. They got to get to the dance still. We know that it's not, a sure thing. So I don't think they're the team to beat. I think there's a lot of teams that would, be on the same tier at the very least, if not teams above them. But I obviously love the addition of Geno and Naylor. I mean, for them, it's cost effective. I don't know if that should mean anything, but they get, 2 corner guys who are going to be free agents at the end of the year. And we know about homers in the playoffs. So that brings that. And we've wanted Seattle to get this offense going for how many years, Chris? I don't even know. Probably 4 years. We just said, can you put some offense around these pitchers? It's kind of flipped this year where their offense has been good. And some of the starting pitching has struggled. But this now gives them a very well-balanced team. And, yeah, I mean, if everything goes as planned, they are definitely a formidable team in the playoffs.
I would add one more bullpen arm today. That's what I would do. And then I would say that Jerry Dipoto will have done everything he can to make this as serious a World Series contender as possible. Let's remember what happened in the offseason. Justin Turner signed with the Cubs, even though he liked his time up there in Seattle. And he said, I didn't want to be the best free agent signing they made. And for years, it's always felt that way. There was the 54% moniker that Dipoto put out there. Hey, you win 54% of your games. That's good enough. I don't think he's thinking in those manners anymore. So I'll give him a little bit of credit that it feels like, at least, that he has been willing to change his mantra. So they're going for it. And Mariners fans start a 10-game homestand tonight. That place is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
They haven't played great since they didn't have a winning road trip after the Naylor deal. So they do have to get going, right? They're still 5 games back of the Astros in the NL West. The other thing is you got to get George Kirby going. Brian Woo's had a couple of shaky starts since the All-Star break.
But he's been great all year.
He's been tremendous. He's been tremendous. It's just 2 of his poorer starts, that's all. And that happens. Luis Castillo has been very, very good all year. So this is, I don't know, what percent chance would you give of Seattle finally making the World Series? First time ever.
Man. I'm not good with percentages, Chris. You know that. I don't even know how to begin to
6%?
articulate that. 16,
8%?
you said?
6, 8, 12?
What's a good number? Like, give me like high. Who's got the highest chance right now
in the American League? Who do you think does?
Shoot, I don't know. I would say that there's a lot of teams right around the same tier, like the Tigers, the Astros, and Blue Jays probably have what? Looking on Baseball Reference, like a 10% chance. Is that high?
Yeah, it does feel like there's 5 or 6 American League teams
kind of all around the same.
I think that's what makes this year in particular so fun. That's what I would say. God, people.
I like the lineup though. Like when you really pare it down to kind of what they have in Seattle on the offensive side, they have, like I said, Gino and Naylor now on the corners. Canzone's been really good for them since he got called back up. I like watching his at bats. We know second half Julio. By the way, I just looked at his WAR this year, 4.4. He's right behind Cal Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a guy who probably deserves more credit than we give him. Randy, the best to ever do it. He could show up big in a postseason game. And then, I think that's why DePoto said, let's push some chips in. Like when you have Cal Raleigh having the type of year he is, or a player on your team having the type of year he is, it's like, okay, this is our year. It's time to go.
Well, if you look at their top 7 now, and I know a lot of Seattle fans are clamoring to move Crawford out of the top spot, but let's just say it's Crawford for tonight for whatever reason. Julio, Cal, Suarez, Naylor, Randy, Polanco. That's a pretty damn good top 7. I don't know who in the American League can top that. Or in baseball.
Oh, gosh. Deep lineups?
I mean, that's 7 players that you feel good about. I think for the most part, Crawford's the weakest link at this point, I would say.
And the Dodgers have a pretty good top 7, too.
Pretty good, yeah.
No, like really good.
Very good. Very good. But I'm saying it's
I think
not
the Phillies got a good top 7, too. There's some teams.
All right, people have to leave us a few comments here. What is the pecking order of the AL? I would still say, God, I've been on Detroit's bandwagon all year. I'll still stick with Detroit just because they've got the biggest monster in a short series playoff, where if they have to throw Skubal twice, I think that could be the deciding factor.
It could be too.
So I would put them slightly ahead of the Blue Jays, and then I would go, as of right now, before the trade deadline, then I would go Seattle. No, I'll go Houston, Seattle, Yankees. That's my top 5.
Rangers are kind of surging too, though.
They are surging. They are.
No AL Central teams besides Detroit. Get all of them out of there. Gross.
We'll see you next year. Yeah, cover it up. All right. Let us know where you stand. Give us a comment.
The Mets have a really nice top 7, too. I'm looking at their lineup right now.
Very good. Very good. Early morning trade deadline day deal between my Guardians and the Toronto Blue Jays. And no, it's not Stephen Kwan yet. It's Shane Bieber, former Cy Young Award winner, is headed up there for a top 10 pitching prospect. In return, his name is Cal Steven. He's a 22-year-old who had the Double-A, I do believe. So the Blue Jays have been looking for bullpen help, which they got in Sir Anthony Dominguez, who has pitched well so far in his short stint up there. They've been looking for back-end rotation help. How much of an eye-opener is this to deal for a guy who's only had 4 starts in the last 24 months at the big league level?
It sounds like it's a lot to give up for him, especially because I was thinking this was a team option on Bieber for next year, but it's a player option for next year
with a $4 million buyout.
With a buyout. So he hasn't made a start in the big leagues this year. He's been rehabbing. I guess he's looked pretty good in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
So the scouts are like, okay, looks good. So like, say he comes back and down the stretch run gives you what you need. If you're the Blue Jays, he comes in, solidifies the back end of your rotation. Hell, who knows what could happen by the time October runs around? He could be one of your guys that you're throwing in the playoffs or second game of the playoffs. If that happens, then he's gone. So it seems like a lot. And you know I don't love talking about prospects like that, but the consensus around the guy that they got back is that Cleveland did a good job here. It's an interesting trade for me. Honestly, I would not have pegged him going to the Blue Jays. I know they're what we've heard from the Blue Jays is they want a starter that's controllable. Have some guys leaving that rotation. They'd want somebody in there. I don't think that's going to happen here.
Well, that's not this. We can put that out there right there. So you start with this. What does it mean for the 2025 Jays who have just been off and running the last 2 months? They've been great. So their rotation now includes, and I don't know how it's going to shake out. We'll listen to what their skipper has to say on Friday. Gausman, Scherzer, Bassett, Lauer, who's been a lifesaver for them, and Barrios. And now you add Bieber. So what it means is it's going to push somebody to the bullpen. Scherzer, he's had weird stuff pop up with his thumb, and the last few years, whether it's been, in New York or down in Texas. I mean, at this point, you don't even see Shane Bieber starting in the playoffs. But I think what it means is starting July 31st or August 1st for them, because that's their next game, there's going to be a 2-month competition to see who is best and who is healthy.
Yeah.
And there should be no promises made to anybody in that rotation, no matter how established you are as a big leaguer, because they've got a lot of veteran guys that have done stuff, right? You've got Scherzer, who's won multiple Cy Young Awards. You've now got Shane Bieber, who has won a Cy Young Award. You have Kevin Gausman and Barrios, who are both 9-figure contract guys. And then you've got Lauer, who's pitched exceptionally well. It's an embarrassment of riches, and I just think it's really a 2-month competition. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden we were seeing Bieber start like an early game of a series. If he came back and I think saw the numbers, it was like 12 and something innings with 19 Ks. That's at the AAA level. But like if he returns to form, which is not typical after a TJ, it'd be I'm curious to see how it goes. I don't think they're done.
You don't?
I don't think so. Like this is their year. I think you got to really, really push it. I don't know if Bieber's pushing it in. Although the return would suggest maybe this is their deal.
Well, I don't believe their farm system is great, and it's not loaded with position players that some teams covet. I was on 2 different Toronto radio stations yesterday, and they asked me about the availability of Stephen Kwan. I was like, first of all, get your damn hands off of him. I put out a big thing about it, and some people agreed, and some people were like, no, the time is now to strike. I could see both sides of that. It's just I think I was more emotional than anything else. Do you think that Cleveland is done? Let's look at it from the other side. They just traded Paul Sewald to the Tigers, which is more of a cost-saving move than anything.
I mean, who else can they ship out that's...
It's Kwan.
It's just Kwan, really. That's going to
garner
any interest. There's nobody in the bullpen, though, Cade Smith or something like that.
The Cade Smith thing does not make sense. He's got 4 years of control after this, and with the unsettling future of your all-star closer, you have to hang on to him, I think.
You never know. I think they're done. I would not trade. I'm with you. I would not trade Stephen Kwan. So if that's the last piece that they can trade, I would say they're done.
I think he's going to be the real interesting one. There's a lot of people that say there's teams like the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Padres who are all over him. But we'll see how that all goes. Be interesting. Let us know. Do you think Stephen Kwan's getting traded? Let's go. Give me some comments. And what do you think of the move for Shane Bieber up there in Toronto? Is it going to be enough to hold off the Yankees? Is it going to be enough to push them to the World Series for the first time in 32 years? All right, it's time right now for Climbing the Mountain, which is brought to you by Mountain Dew, where we take a look at teams who are climbing or climbing up or sliding down the mountain on the trek to the playoffs. And today we are going to focus where? In the National League East, which got really interesting. The Mets currently hold a half-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies, both teams adding major relief help. We're going to start with the Phillies, who added your guy, Johan Duran, for a couple of prospects, including Mick Abel, whom we saw make his major league debut. He's a pitcher. And then teenage catching sensation Eduardo Tate. He is a top 100 prospect. Those two go back to Minnesota. As for the Mets, they doubled down on bullpen help. First, they got one of the Rogers twins, Tyler, the right-hander, the submarine thrower from the Giants, for 3 players. Then they snagged the best to-be free agent closer in this market, Ryan Helsley from St. Louis, for a bunch of other prospects. So, whose move did you like better, Philly or the Mets?
Oh man, I mean the Mets got 2 guys, so that counts as something. But I don't think that. I mean, did they need bullpen help as much as the Phillies needed bullpen help? I think that's kind of where my head's at.
The answer is no. And now that I look at the Mets bullpen, I think you can make an argument. Think that it is now the deepest.
It's deep.
It's really deep because now in the playoffs, listen to all the experienced arms you can go with. Diaz, Helsley, Soto, whom they picked up from Baltimore, Reed Garrett, who's been a really nice piece over the last few years, and Ryan Stanek. These are guys who have a ton of postseason experience.
They needed Soto. They needed a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
That was big for them. Yeah, I mean, their bullpen's incredibly deep, and it allows them to shorten games when they need to. Their starting pitching, for the most part, has been pretty good. So it's not necessarily like a must-have, but we know how, managers manage in the postseason. So I think I'll go Phillies here because they needed bullpen help the most. As we know, Alvarado not back until soon, a couple of weeks, right? But then he can't pitch in the postseason.
Exactly.
Romano has not been great for them this year. So you get Durant, who's an absolute stud, comes with 2 years of control, which, I didn't want the Twins to trade him right now. I thought you could still get that offer next year, and maybe you're back in it. But they apparently had really high internal ratings on the catcher they got back, and they do need catching in that organization big time. They don't have anybody in the minor league system really, so that was big for them. But for the Phillies, I mean, look, you're getting a guy who not only strikes dudes out, but also when he doesn't strike them out, gets an insane amount of ground balls. So he's keeping the ball in the ballpark, a proven closer, a guy who doesn't care about the situation. Like, he's got a great mental fortitude for that role. I think he's in Philly's a tough place to play, and it can get rowdy, and they're going to be in big moments, and I don't think Duran's going to care. Like, he's going to come just do his thing. Like, knowing him personally, like, that's the kind of guy he is. So love the move for them. But obviously the Mets also got a lot better with that bullpen. Like you said, man, that's the deep end of the swimming pool.
So first of all, here's I want you to listen to Dave Dombrowski about the trade that's been made. Here it is.
I really didn't think this one was possible a couple days ago. I'm not really sure what the difference was in that regard. I do think that having Abel close to the big leagues made a difference, because I do know that they had a lot of interest in him. We've heard from a lot of clubs that were trying to get him after we got him. The control aspect is, again, that's huge. And I think we have a chance to win.
You definitely have a chance to win. Dave Dombrowski's never been shy, no matter where he has been, in pulling the trigger. And we talked about this at the beginning of the year. I always felt like Philadelphia had as much pressure as any team to get this thing right, in part because of the number of guys who were in their walk years and guys who are now in their early to mid 30s. Like, it's not, at some point it can change quickly. You can go from an experienced team to an old team overnight. It has happened. So I love this move because it gives them an opportunity. Kyle Schwarber talked about it post-game yesterday. He said, in 2016, when we made the trade in Chicago for Aroldis Chapman, it made us believe that we were good enough. And he said, it's not necessarily that we needed that here in Philadelphia, but man, when you get that guy at the end of a game that can nail things down, where you don't wonder who's walking through that door, you know who's walking through that door to finish the game off, it changes your perspective totally. So I love this move for Philadelphia.
Trey Turner, be ready, baby. You better be taking some extra ground balls because he's going to get you some late in the game.
As far as the Mets go, the move for Rogers, he has been one of the most dependable bullpen arms in baseball. First of all, it shocked me that he was out in San Francisco for 7 years. When I saw that, I about fell out of my chair. I was like, what? Where did the time go? And you're talking about the funky arm angle, but he is more than just like a circus animal. He is a solid to excellent bullpen piece. And Helsley, I know that some people are a little concerned about some of his, the shape of his pitches and things like that. That's not exactly where my
Who's what? Concerned about that? Get in the box. Get in the box and tell me you're concerned about the shape of his pitches. By the way, Eno Saris yesterday put out getting Helsley and Rogers in one day. Not so bad. Stuff plus wise for them. Helsley's number 1 in the big leagues, and Tyler Rogers is number 3. So people who say the shape that's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm just telling you that's not my game. I don't live there as a baseball fan. I understand why some people do. I don't really care to know about that stuff.
The shape.
I'm just telling you, man, what some people say. But it's great. He'll pitch in any sort of situation, and that'll probably be right in front of Edwin Diaz, depending on where the other team is in their order. We could see him in the 6th or 7th inning of a playoff game. I always think that's fun, but I love what the Mets have done. The other thing is with the Mets, in terms of what they gave up, we don't know what any of these prospects that went to San Francisco and St. Louis are going to turn into. So to say it's a win or a loss on the trade, I'll see you 5 years from now, and I grade trades then. But I do look at it this way. With an owner like Stephen Cohen, it doesn't matter. Like, you would love to have a great farm system on top of your ability to spend like a nut bag, but that's what he is. If he can throw money at a problem, and that is a great advantage that he's got that a lot of owners don't.
I think we used to talk about that more than we do, because first he came out guns blazing, then he came out and said, oh, it's a little bit harder than I thought or whatever. But you're right. The truth is, like, if he wants something to happen monetarily, there's no restrictions. And you can't, like, he's basically maybe you can include the Dodgers group in that, but like Steve Cohen wanting, like, hometown kid wanting his team to win with those deep pockets, I think probably doesn't get talked about enough.
So as of right now, who do you like more, the Mets or the Phillies?
Ooh, I thought you were going to say comment below.
I will.
That's going to be a hell of a matchup, Chris. That's really, really hard to choose that. I'd probably go starting pitching Phillies, bullpen Mets, and then offense a wash, I think. I think these teams are dead even, and it's reflected in the standings. You tell me your answer, because you're guessing.
I think I like Philadelphia more to win the division.
Okay.
Because I like their starting pitching a tad bit more. I think the Mets are built for October better. I think that's a fair assessment.
I mean, Mets, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I will say this.
I think the Mets are built for October because of the bullpen is better.
I would love to. They can meet in the NLCS, can't they?
You know what, dude?
Huh?
I don't want to get long on this so quickly. The algorithm got me on Netflix. I started watching this show, Meat Eater. Never would have watched it. Not a hunter before. I do love good food, and I like the outdoors, right? That's what this guy does. They go hunt, and then they cook the food. And Pete Alonso, I watched an episode. He wanted to go on this. After he won the home run derby or rookie of the year or something, he said, my next goal is to go hunting with this guy. Watch the episode last night. Watch Pete put a bullet in a freaking elk's or a mule deer's heart and then eat it. And I was like, I'm all on Pete now. I'm in on Pete. He's like, in clutch situations, I want to be up. He said that. This was filmed in like 2020 or something. And then what did he do last year in the clutch moment? Pete Alonso's my hero. I love him.
I didn't have you pegged as a deer blind guy.
I'm not. I've never been hunting, but it was cool to watch.
You were probably like one of two, maybe, baseball players that hasn't been hunting.
I'm a fisherman. I grew up on a lake.
Right. Yeah, I've never been hunting either. Not my thing. Not my thing. It's okay. I don't know how we got there, but
I don't know either. I just, go Pete, go. Maybe he's the X factor.
sure. Could be interesting. Reds. The plucky Reds trying to make a charge. Separate deals. They added a starting pitcher and a position player, Zach Littell, more than an innings eater. Really dependable pitcher. Comes over from Tampa Bay. Brian Hayes is their new third baseman, courtesy of the Pirates. Do you like Cincinnati's philosophy?
I do. I like the Brian Hayes move. I think that he has potential offensively because some of he hits the ball hard, right? And he goes now, Chris, think about where he plays. Like Pittsburgh's not an easy place to hit if you're a left-handed hitter. Cincinnati, very easy place to hit if you're a hitter. He's got to put the ball in the air more, which is something I think you could teach. Like swing mechanics, you could teach. Like if you have the right guys in there, I think you could get him to put the ball in the air a little bit more. You're already going to make your money back in his contract, which is like averages $9 million over the next 3 years by his infield defense. And I think that is important. And you're talking about playoffs. What's important? Defense is important. And you got possibly the best defender in baseball. If you're going by the metrics, he is. You can put him at third base. Marte goes to the outfield. If they can get a 10% increase in his offensive categories, I think you're looking at like a really, really nice deal for them. And then the Littell side of it, I feel like they have a lot of pitching. This is just depth, more depth for them. So you can never have too many.
Yeah.
I like the approach. I really do. I really, really, Chris, we're going to go back to this next year, July 31st, 2025. This deal is going to look really, really good for the Reds. I'm talking about Brian Hayes over there.
See, you like it way more than I do. He is the worst offensive player in baseball.
I think you can make some changes, and he's going to.
He needs to. He needs to. You can't have a zero over there offensively. You can't. People can throw, outs above average at me all day, and I get it. Defense is important. It's not as important as it is at shortstop or center field or catcher, but it is an important position. I understand all that. And I had a lot of Reds fans yelling at me in the comments saying, well, wait a second. They basically go from flirting with Eugenio Suarez to Brian Hayes. That's a little bit of a head scratcher.
We got a passing.
Yeah.
Padres got Mason Miller.
Well, so we saw that.
Shit, we were talking about this before the show.
Yeah, we saw that last night. So this is happening as we're on air right now. Padres acquiring closer Mason Miller and starter J.P. Sears from the A's.
Tell us your inside info.
Who are you talking to?
Padres not necessarily looking at him as a bullpen piece, right? Maybe this year.
Now that J.P. Sears is along for the ride, it's to me, I don't think they're done. First of all, it wouldn't shock me if Cease goes. This is how A.J. Preller works.
It is. It's like this.
He brings in guys who have control and gets rid of guys who are still pretty good. Because
that's the way you're supposed to GM. I mean, it makes a ton of sense.
The question is Robert Suarez now available? Or do you hang on to him because you've got so many all-stars out there? Now Mason Miller has not been as great this year.
Yeah, dude. Okay, this is like an Andrew Vaughn situation. You're on one of the worst teams in baseball and one of the worst atmospheres in baseball definitely to pitch in. Like, we're a year removed from talking about this guy's the greatest reliever we've ever seen.
Okay, I'll listen to all that.
Put him in front of that San Diego Padres crowd amongst that roster of guys who's just, I mean, that's a show-ass roster. I think it brings something out in this dude.
All right.
Jeez, the Padres, man.
Well, it's funny because that last question we have on our graphic, which we're now probably no longer going to get to.
I was going to say.
Is A.J. Preller was my answer for it. So, let's just chop this up right now with what we're looking at. You've got in the bullpen already, you've got Jason Adam, who's an all-star. You've got Robert Suarez, who is an all-star. You've got Morejon, who's an all-star, and now you add Mason Miller. And this is a team that we talked about it. They were the Dodgers' biggest pain in the ass en route to their World Series championship in 2024. And I want you to listen to, after they swept the Mets yesterday, a reporter went up to Fernando Tatis and asked him about A.J. Preller doing his thing and what sort of statement this means. Listen.
What do you think it says to the guys upstairs that you guys just got to sweep against a team in first place?
That they better get us help. And we're going for it, and we're going to keep playing good baseball.
There you go. One of the stars of your team says that. And we knew that A.J. Preller, based on his trade deadline history, was going to do something, right? It was the biggest.
Yes.
It was the biggest gimme.
Him and DePoto don't sit trade deadlines out.
No. If you go look at his past, last year, Tanner Scott, Brian Hoeing, Martin Perez all came over. Juan Soto, Josh Hader, Adam Frazier, Mike Clevenger. We're talking about some big-time deals. He's picked up some other guys that have helped out a team. Josh Bell came over. Brandon Drury came over 1 year. Mitch Moreland came over 1 year, helped them out. Like, he will go out and get as much as he needs to give his guys a chance. So what is that? What is this trade?
Mitch Moreland shout out. Okay.
Well, he was good for them.
He was good. Yeah.
What is this trade of Mason Miller and JP Sears do, in your opinion?
For the Padres?
Mm-hmm. How good does it make them?
It depends what they do the rest of the deadline. Like what you were saying, we already heard rumors that they were thinking about trading Suarez because they have guys behind him and he's an impending free agent and all these things. I mean, it could be a 1-for-1 thing, and then it kind of like it's I guess can you say Suarez and Mason Miller's a 1-for-1 even swap? Not the way they've both, like the way they pitched this year. You can't say that, but I do believe Mason Miller will be better. I don't know. I got to see what the rest what they do the rest of the day, Chris.
Yeah. Well,
with both of them, I mean, it just adds to what we talk about in the playoffs. Like when you can shorten games like that, and you got swing and miss stuff in the back end of your bullpen, it's obviously a huge benefit for you.
All right, we're trying to get more details as we move along here.
I was going to name the last question. You said you were going to talk about Preller. I was going to name the A's general manager, who I don't think they have a general manager. I think it's just David Forst.
Buster Olney coming out with this, that Suarez and Cease likely to be moved now that the Padres have landed Mason Miller and JP Sears.
Then we got to see. We can't comment yet because that what are they going to bring back for those guys? Suarez and Cease, are they trying to get talent for this year? Are they trying to replenish a farm system?
Yeah.
I'd assume you got to go try to get. I mean, is Sears your replacement for Cease?
Yes, he has not been great. His ERA is near 5. Once again, you know from having done a series up there in Sacramento that pitching in that ballpark it's hard to judge pitchers, is it not?
It really is.
Okay. Here's something new. Ken Rosenthal, source confirms that Miller and Sears heading to San Diego. Top shortstop prospect Leo DeVries, who's one of the top in baseball, heading to the A's. That Passan was the first to have it. I always love it, by the way. This is just a little nerdy thing. How respectful all the reporters are in baseball to give each other credit. It's good.
How do they know? Like, they're trying to type so fast. Like, how do they know who had it first? And they must have like a separate
they have their alerts.
Of just beat writers.
They have their alerts. They know what's going on. Wow, this is huge.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, this has been, like I said at the top of the show, people said this is going to be a cold trade deadline. Like, what? No way.
No. I think it's the exact opposite because let's just off the top of our heads name the top 10 teams in baseball. We did it in the American League. We named Toronto in no particular order. Toronto, Detroit, Seattle, Houston, the Yankees. And, you can throw Boston in there if you want to. I think that they're legit, and I think they've got to get going.
You can't put 6 teams in a top 10 of all
Not from the
American League.
So, National League, Dodgers, Padres,
Mets, Brewers, Cubs,
Phillies,
Phillies.
That's 11. So if you wanted
That's
to go
12 right there.
if you wanted to go 12, you go 6 from each league. There it is right there.
Those are the playoffs.
What, in your opinion, who would you say is the 12th best team out of the teams we just mentioned?
Are the teams we just mentioned? We didn't even mention Seattle, huh?
We did.
You mentioned Seattle.
Would you say the Red Sox are?
Yes, with the caveat that they could push towards the top.
But as presently constructed, let's both say the Red Sox are the 12th best team. And who's the best team that we just mentioned?
It's still the Dodgers.
Okay.
And they've actually got beat by a lot of these teams. So people are going to push back on that. But I just think like they're getting Blake Snell back. Like, yes.
But let me complete my exercise just for the sake of argument.
Okay.
How significant is the gap between the Dodgers and Red Sox? It doesn't feel that huge.
It's pretty big.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm talking like full strength, health, all these things, like roster versus roster. It's pretty big.
Okay. I don't know. I don't see it as enormous. How about Dodgers? And I will still put the Brewers, even though they've been enough.
Dodgers. Okay. Let me pull it back here. They need bullpen help in the worst way.
Oh, yeah.
So I fully expect them to address that and then get guys back healthy. Like I'm thinking about fully healthy rosters.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about where we're going to be at when playoffs come.
Okay. Boy.
I mean, you're talking about Glasnow, Yamamoto, and
I guess my point is this: it doesn't feel
Blake
like
Snell.
to me that there are enough teams there. I think there are 8 to 10 teams that really believe, as of right now, they are good enough to win it all.
100%.
And so, why wouldn't you go out and make a move? Why wouldn't you? It doesn't make any sense to me. All right, Mason Miller.
Dang.
I love that. I love it. It makes it so much fun. The one thing we didn't ask about this Padres deal right now, as it sits, forget about if Cease or Suarez moves. How much of a gap is there between the Dodgers and Padres?
I got a thing for the Padres. I really do. I don't know what it is. Like they have an aura around them to me, like where they could, they had the Dodgers beat. Remember that, man.
Yes, they did.
They had them beat, and then they didn't. They didn't score a run the rest of the series. Well, it's not that. I don't think it's that big. I'm probably higher on the Padres than most people are. I'd put the Padres as like a top 5 team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people would do that normally.
Do you think it's the right move for Preller to deal if he does Suarez and or Cease?
If they got like a legit outfielder back, they still need a left fielder or a DH. Depending on what you want to do with Sheets, like that's a hole in their lineup they have to address. Stephen Kwan sure would fit nicely in left field there.
Yeah, but the Guardians don't want 2 expiring.
No, I know. I'm not saying
something else.
They don't need 2 freaking free agents. No,
right? They would have to give up Salas, who's not. They've kind of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of teams who have excess outfield depth that need rentals.
Right. I don't know. Ramon Laureano ends up somewhere today, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we've been a little bit all over the place, but that's the beauty of breaking news.
No, that was the Astros. I was going to say, didn't Ramon Laureano go fight a coach? That was the Astros coach. Okay.
Yes, that was the Astros coach. That was Alex Cintron, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, today's episode is sponsored by Lids. Every day, we wear one of these bad boys on our head. So we know that Lids is all about great-looking hats and jerseys. But did you know it can now be your go-to for all things Topps trading cards, including the Topps Chrome series that just dropped last week on July 23rd. Lids is the only retail store with hobby boxes, so now you can have the satisfaction of ripping packs as soon as you make the purchase and not have to wait for the delivery to your house. Apparently, somebody just pulled a 1-1 in Cal Raleigh, autographed at a Lids store. We're hearing it sold for almost $3,000. So you walk into a Lids store, you get this thing, and you walk out with $3,000, that's okay with me. The math plays. And to welcome card collectors of all ages to Lids stores, customers can use the code JOMBOY in store to get an Access Pass premium membership for free with any purchase of MLB Topps Chrome. The AP premium membership includes 20% off of headwear, 10% off apparel. So go get your favorite jersey if you want, and early access to the latest drops, product giveaways, and oh so much more. So go get that at Lids today. Before we get out of here, and it's been a little bit all over the place, so forgive us, but that's the fun part. Give me one other GM to watch today other than AJ Preller.
I was going to give you Force or whoever is the general manager of the A's, but he already kind of dealt his hand out right there. Who is the general manager of the A's? I thought Force was baseball ops, but I think maybe he's acting general manager as well.
Well, Caval was out as president. I guess we have to look that up.
I tried. You can't. It doesn't come up. So it's Force. I think is still running everything.
All right. So
he was my guy. It kind of got my answer. I'll give you another one. Let's go Falvey. I mean, the Twins still have a ton of pieces available. So yeah, I'll go Derek and who also is the president, but still kind of running things there. So I guess Jeremy Zoll, general manager of the Twins.
Okay. I'm watching Buster Posey. It started yesterday. I do think that he's got two guys he could trade that could help the Giants in return. And I'm not talking about guys in their walk years. Those are bit pieces that anybody can trade and critics won't bat an eye. I'm talking about taking a stand. I think Robbie Ray and Camilo Doval, who are both signed through next year, could fetch you a nice return and get you some of that offense that you crave. Already fired your shot with the Rafael Devers deal in early June, I believe is when it was. That hasn't paid dividends yet. Let's keep getting more help. And I listened to, they went homeless. They went winless on their homestand. I'm combining things. Sorry, I'm all over the place. And the players, if you listened to them yesterday, Logan Webb, Matt Chapman, they said, we've done a disservice to Buster Posey. Like, we kind of screwed him here. And so whatever he decides to do, we have to live with. And I think it'll take some serious balls to deal guys that can help you next year. But I think it might be the best way for this team to move forward offensively. You can always go get pitchers and have them come to San Francisco. I don't think that's been a problem. Getting position players that can help in that ballpark has been.
Cashman's another one.
Oh, he has to work.
Cashman's another one we got to watch out for, man.
Got to cook.
He is the internet streets will be all over him. You don't want Joe's McFly yelling at you anymore, Cash.
No, bro.
Bro, doing nothing is crazy.
All right.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. We'll be back. There's a special live edition of Talking Baseball today.
Yes.
So make sure you join that.
I believe we're going 4:30 to 6:30 Eastern.
Oh, great. Enjoy that, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I'll be kind of tuned in, even though I'll be on the NFL Network set. It's all right.
Starting soon, buddy.
My two loves cutting together on the same day. It's perfect. All right. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday to break down all the deals here on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.